Today I am going to show you how to do the data binding in Angular 8. So if you read this much line of paragraph now, you will see that data binding is a core concept of Angular 8 and is used to define the communication between component and DOM. Component means your TS file and DOM means the HTML template file. Okay, it is a link your data to your view layer. In simple word, you can say that data binding is a communication between your TypeScript and the component. So from this diagram you see here, data binding is a technique of communicating from TypeScript to HTML file and HTML to TypeScript file. HTML to TypeScript, both. In both direction it is called a two-way data binding. In one direction, TypeScript to HTML, it is called one-way data binding. Okay, so we'll go for one example now. So here it is the TypeScript file or your component. Here I am defining a user uname, a variable, and I want to show this in the HTML file. Okay, so in the HTML what I am writing? I am writing this interpolation. This is called interpolation. So two curly bracket, this side two curly bracket, and this is the username, the variable, and same name is mentioned here, uname. If I will change this name to uname1 and I will save this, it will not work. See, you go here, yes, nothing is showing here, only that input tag is showing. This, sorry, input tag also I removed from here. I will just going to refresh it. So input tag is gone, nothing is showing. So this should, the name should be same. So I will give here name uname1 and then save it, and here in HTML file I am giving uname, so it is showing here my name. In the component HTML I am showing here. So this is the one way data binding. Okay, this is the one way TS file to HTML. Here the TS file I am writing here, and this is the HTML I am writing here, and this symbol is called interpolation. Then suppose I want to show this data inside a text box in the HTML file. What I will do, I will have a input tag here, and what I will write here, I will write ng model equal to uname, and it will be inside double quote. Okay, I will save it. See here, inside the text box my name is coming. Okay, uname is coming. Okay, so it is a one-way data binding. Why it is one-way data binding? Because the data is coming from TypeScript to HTML. It is coming from TypeScript. Whatever I have written here, suppose I will read here 1 2 3 4 and I will save it. Then we go here, that is, sorry, I will go to the UI. See, it is changing here, both in HTML, here and here also. Okay, now for now, okay, I will remove this one. Suppose there is no need of this when I am showing the example of input. So here see this one. So my aim is to prove you that it is a one-way data binding. How? So whenever I am changing here, suppose I will write the value here also, uname. Okay, I will write uname here. Okay, so if I open this, see, I am getting the uname here. So if I am writing something changing, so it is not changing here, means the backend TS file is not changing if I am changing here. But if I will change here in the backend, suppose I will backend, I will write here I'll write here 1 2 3 4 and save it. It will be reflected here 1 2 3 4. So whenever I am changing in the TS file, it is reflecting in HTML file. But when I am changing in the HTML file, it is not reflecting in the TS file. So it is a one-way data binding from TS to HTML, from TypeScript to HTML. Okay, so definition is any change in the TypeScript will be reflected in HTML. Reverse not possible. For one-way data binding, any change in the TypeScript will be reflected in HTML. Here you will change, it will be reflected here. But reverse means HTML change will not reflect here. And a one-way data binding is done by interpolation and or property binding, any. So here we are using interpolation and here we are using property binding for one-way data binding. Suppose I want that if I will change in the HTML, the TS file will change. Then what I will do? I will do a simple thing here. I will give a, this is called event binding. So event binding plus property binding equal to two-way data binding. Okay. So what is two-way data binding? It is the event plus property binding. That is equal to event plus binding. What is that? Event, sorry, this is the event plus property. That is equal to your, so this is called two-way data binding. So it is banana in the box. Banana in a box. It is in the Angular term, it is called, this symbol is called banana in a box. So I will do that, already done that. So event binding, property binding, both I mixed. Now it will change. So I saved it. Okay. Previously there was no bracket here. So it is one way. Now I added the bracket, means event binding. So event binding plus property binding equal to two-way data binding. So I saved it and I am going here. I change anything here, it is automatically changing in the TS file. Okay, because this is directly connected to TS. So whenever I am changing anything, it is going there. Suppose I will remove this to 1, it is 1 now. So both data will be same now. Uname here by default uname is equal to 1 2 3 4 5. So suppose I will refresh it, I will get 1 2 3 4 5 because I make it initially. Suppose I will change it here something, so it is changing here, and this data is coming from the TS file. See, this is coming from, this data is coming from TS file directly. Okay, so whenever I am changing in the text box, it is changing here. So this is two-way data binding. Okay. And you must remember that when I am using this input tag here, okay, input belongs to a form element. So it belongs to generally the form object inside the Angular. So we must inherit this one, form module. Import form module in the app module.ts, and then you have to add is here. Same form module you have to add here, and you have to import the form module. Then the input will work.